Hello, everyone. This is Talk Retail. I'm Ann Mazinga coming to you live from the eTail West Conference in Palm Springs. Before we get started here with my final guest of today, I want to give a big shout out to NetElixir, who is helping us bring you all of the coverage, all the interviews from the conference for the rest of the week. So stop by and see them at booth 501 if you're at the show, or head to netelixir.com. All right, next joining me, I have Rick Egan, who is the VP of Performance Marketing at Beyond. Rick, welcome.
Thank you.
I got to hear a little bit about your background. How long have you been at Beyond? What did you do before that? Introduce yourself to the audience, if you will.
Sure. Thanks for that. I've been at Beyond for 3 years.
Okay.
So we're kind of a family of brands company with a couple key brands being Bed Bath Beyond and Overstock.com, two old legacy brands that we're trying to do some really fun new things with.
Excellent. And how long have you been there total, you said?
I've been there for 3 years.
3 years, okay.
But I've been in kind of e-commerce, digital marketing really since like the early 2000s. So.
How'd you get into it? What was like your first foray into e-commerce?
So my first foray was actually in 2000. I was in business school at the time, and a friend of mine that I was going to school with, she and I wanted to try to do something with the .com boom, which was at that time, and so we ended up developing a website for kind of new and expectant parents to be able to find daycare listings, because I had a small child at the time, and that was a problem that seemed to be needed to be solved. So we did that, and that was great, and we had a lot of fun at first, and then we figured out we actually had to make money doing this, that you didn't just get to do it.
It's the downside.
Yeah. So, so then I ended up building a e-commerce store.
Okay.
Built my own shopping engine and kind of all that. We were a dropship retailer, so. That was the beginning, and so that was before search marketing or anything like that. So our marketing was how do we place higher in the Yahoo directory?
In the Yahoo directory, I love it.
That's how far I go back.
The
gray hairs are not.
Oh my God!
You know.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, what all now do you oversee in your role at Beyond, and kind of how has that evolved over the last 3 years?
Well, so my role is to really focus on acquisition, how we really acquire new customers, and and the pressure is always how can we acquire more and cheaper. Mm-hmm. And so that's really always my focus, is how we can get the most out of the dollars that we spend. And and I think that I always try to think about it that it's both the acquisition side off-site, but once you get on-site, your job doesn't end just because you delivered the visit.
Right.
So you have to look for other solutions that you can to continue to get better efficiencies.
Are there particular things that you're interested in? I mean, especially being here at eTail, there's a lot of solutions out there. Is there anything that you're really kind of focused on exploring or looking more into now in 2025 as you kind of try to solve for that?
I mean, I think the thing that I've been kind of looking at, and this really not just this year, but the last couple years, is how you can really better use first-party data. Okay. So, with the kind of the rise of the black box, AI algorithms with Google and Meta, and everybody else seems to be having their own one that pop up. It's great to throw the acronym AI in there and say it's better, but it also kind of ends up being a black box. So,
yeah.
So I really look at, and that's when I've had a couple good conversations here with a few different potential partners to work with.
Yeah.
But it's really how can you best use first-party data and use it at scale.
Right.
We have a CRM of 150 million records, so
right.
We don't necessarily need to think about third-party data, which is kind of going away. We can really think about first-party data, how we can best use that, how can we better know who somebody is and who is like our best customer, and bring those people in.
Right, and how do you continue to keep them coming back, making those same purchases, and going to you first when it comes to search for those types of things too, I imagine. Well, let's talk about your session. What were you talking about on stage today?
Well, it's Bed Bath Beyond, so we were talking about coupons.
Oh boy. I know I saw somebody in the expo hall. They're like luring us all with the 20% off coupons of old. It
Yes.
was like, I love that. All right. Okay, so what was the focus of the conversation?
So it was one partner that we have that we work with, a company called Session AI.
Okay.
And they offer kind of a behavioral, or it's really called real-time offers, so a real-time coupon offer.
Okay.
Where you can really look at the session and what the customer journey is, and then model that out, and then determine, okay, if you do, kind of do certain behaviors, your likelihood of converting is really good. So therefore, maybe don't give them a coupon.
Oh,
take some savings.
Okay,
and then
interesting.
other people, they can go, well, I'm not so sure about this conversion. Maybe give that person a coupon, and then they convert at a higher rate. So looking at kind of both of those things, because both really are important metrics to both, kind of improve conversion, improve sales, gain some efficiencies, but also to improve your bottom line and margins.
I love the idea of not couponing. I feel like we don't talk about that enough. It seems like it's like, how do you, find the right trigger points to give these people deals and offers? But you're totally right. I mean, there's some advantage in understanding what their propensity might be online. You
have to look at that, and I think, we all, if we're doing if we're true leaders and we're doing our part, then we're looking at we're doing the harder work and finding intelligent solutions, and not just following to, hey, if we just increase the coupon 5%, we'll make more sales tomorrow.
Right, exactly. It's a race to the bottom. I mean, you lose, I think, brand equity sometimes in that sense, or you lose a customer who's willing to pay full price, at that point in time. So is that what you would describe as behavioral AI, Rick? I saw that in the description. So
yeah, I mean, because what
or is it deeper than that?
It's really, so Session AI is basically scoring based on a click-based model, scoring a customer behavior.
Okay.
And then so when you see those behaviors repeated, then you can kind of model out and say, okay, with a certain level of confidence, if you do these things, you're more likely to make a purchase, or you're less likely to make a purchase. So we're able to apply a scoring model that, from a predictive standpoint, is highly accurate.
Well, I want to close out with maybe some predictions from you.
Okay.
As you kind of look into the coming year, what do you think is going to become more prevalent in the world of acquiring new customers online? Getting customers maybe to visit a location, or to visit a store in person, as you're kind of starting to explore that with the Beyond brand, working with outside licensees and that kind of thing. How do you think that's going to evolve, and what things are going to be top of your list of priorities as you head into this year?
Well, I think, what will continue, what will continue to be the most important thing is the customer experience.
Okay.
And if you have a good product and you deliver a good experience, then you will delight the customer and they will reward you.
Yes.
And I think, in just the competitive world that we are in today, some people can take easy pass and just lower your prices and add bigger discounts and do things like that. But I think it's the harder work of, how can we deliver, the right product at the right time. For the customer. And that's the most important thing.
And I might be leading the witness a little bit here, but what do you think about search and how search is changing kind of what customers' expectations are, as we see some retailers starting to explore like Gen AI-based or language-based search? How do you think that will impact? Do you think that we're still far away from that, or do you think that's going to come sooner than...
It'll come sooner than people think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I do think it will happen in the next few years.
Okay.
And you're already starting to see that with like the traditional site search experience, that people are augmenting that with voice search and, and different types of, more AI-led types of search patterns. And then while people are not necessarily going, on a transactional rate, going to things like Perplexity and ChatGPT, as that comfort level grows with people doing those things, they will naturally start navigating to that more and more and more.
Right. Excellent.
So, and then, it's just as the snowball builds, it hits a point where then it really becomes very big.
Right. What about visual-based search? Are you guys looking at that, or do you consider, like, do you think we're still off, like, as far as that's concerned, and people using Lens or another
I don't know about
channel
visual
to look
search.
at?
I mean, things like Lens, I think, are interesting, but
Yeah.
like those, I'm going to snap a photo and
Yeah.
do a search.
Yeah.
Just hasn't really. The technology's been around for a while, and
Right.
it hasn't really taken off.
Yeah,
So,
Amazon's had it for however
yeah,
long.
so
Yeah.
I still think with those things, maybe there's a time that it suddenly takes off, but
Yeah.
a lot of it, maybe it was built way too soon, but maybe it was just that wasn't what people wanted.
All right.
So.
Well, I appreciate you putting your Nostradamus hat on for us.
Okay.
Rick Egan here from Beyond, giving us all of his experience from daycare site finders in the early days of e-com all the way to his current role now. Thank you so much, Rick, for spending
welcome.
time with us. And thanks again to NetElixir for all of our coverage being made possible here at eTail. And until tomorrow, be careful out there.